Hello, I'm Reverend Michelle Scott-Huffman. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm the minister at First UU in Springfield, Missouri. At the beginning of the Soul Matters small group packet for this month, the Soul Matters team has written, how do we renew our faith when so much is falling apart? In these fragile days, we who assess life through the fire of reason find so little reason to trust that everything is going to be okay. The climate is collapsing. Racism so often morphs more than it is removed. Politics divide us more than they unite. Don't tell us it's slowly getting better. Don't ask us to deny this feeling of despair that feels so real. On so many days, we have lost our hope for a better day, but we do long for it, don't we? Despite the setbacks and slowness, there remains something inside that continues to say it can be better. More is possible. I need to believe that goodness is real. It's a longing that lingers no matter what. Maybe that's what the preacher meant when he spoke of faith as a hunger for home. Maybe our faith is more about remembering our longing for what we love and who we want to be more than it is an act of restoring our trust that everything will work out well. Maybe the peacenik was right. We must remain faithful to the fight, not because change is guaranteed, but to ensure that we are not changed. It seems that before we figure out how to renew our faith, we need to come to some agreement on just what it is we're talking about when we talk about faith. I posed the question to Facebook earlier in the week and got some great responses, some of which were clearly contradictory. One Jewish friend says that her Jewish practice has nothing to do with faith, but with right action. And another offered simply that the previous friend's assessment didn't square with her experience at all. Some friends responded that they had equated faith to assent to a particular theological view of God, and that their disappointment has led them to lose or to give up that faith. Our friend Courtney Burton offered this gem. Wisdom is contained in all faiths and is not fully encompassed by any one faith. Anyone of any faith can access it, but it doesn't hide itself from the agnostic or the atheist. Faith is a surrendering of ego and a confession that not everything is under our control. Faith is sending out an "it is well with my soul" or "let it be" energy into the world. It is the moment of surrender when there's nothing you can do but wait and accept what comes, recognizing that your energy is only a fraction of the energy working toward a common end, and believing that all will be well, no matter what comes. I love that so much. Courtney makes the shift in talking about faith as an organized system of beliefs, to faith as a powerful way of being in the world. Merriam-Webster says that faith is a strong belief or trust. Oxford defines it as complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And dictionary.com says it's belief that is not based on proof. Based on some combination of these definitions, I want to suggest that every one of us has faith and operates each day out of an abundance of it. I go to bed at night with the faith that my alarm will wake me in the morning, and I don't set a series of backup alarms just in case. I get up and I swing my legs off the bed and put my feet on the floor with absolute faith that my legs will hold me once they hit the floor. I jump in the shower with the faith, rarely but sometimes shattered, that there's propane in the tank and the water heater has been doing its job, so I'll have a nice hot shower. I dress with faith in the weather forecast and use the last of the eggs in the refrigerator with no intention to buy more, with faith in my chickens to lay new eggs today. I jump in my car just in time because I have faith that my car will run properly and that the traffic will be reasonably close to normal and I'll be on time. I get to work and do what I need to do with great faith in the systems of communication that keep me connected with others: email, texting, phone, social media. And perhaps most importantly, I do all of this operating with great faith in the humans around me to stay in their lane, contribute their part, and to work together toward a common good. And with great faith in the natural world to continue offering sunlight and water and other sustenance that I need to survive. Some people bristle at the word faith. because they've heard it used in ways that their brain just can't comprehend, or because they've had a bad or even traumatic experience in communities that claimed faith in God, but acted in ways that betrayed others' faith in humanity. If you're one of the ones bristling, I want to invite you to reconsider today. Not to reconsider faith in a God or a particular religion, but to consider that faith in anything can be beautiful and life-giving. Some people may say, nope, I'm not going to use the word faith, but I can say trust. Here's why faith is more honest and descriptive than trust for me. I trust that my wife isn't going to clean out our bank account and move to some tropical island with someone else. Partly because if she did, there wouldn't be enough money to get her very far, but mostly because I know her and I don't think she'd do that. But every single day I navigate this world full of people that I don't know at all. People who literally hold the power of life and death over me because of their proximity or their role in a critical job or whatever. I don't know them at all, and I go out into the world trusting them every single day. And not just them, but the entirety of the living and non-living world around me. Sometimes I'm deeply disappointed, but mostly I'm amazed because so far, for 50 years, it's worked. And in part, it's the awe and wonder of that last statement that points to the spirit of the word faith for me. It might be easy to look at the war in Ukraine and insist that there is no basis for faith in humanity. But we also have to admit that humanity in the modern world has moved from the place where conquest was simply the way of nations to the place where much of the world sees this action as an atrocity, a transgression against humanity and progress. Terrible things happen to people every day, and we call them terrible things because we have progressed in many ways. Our laws have evolved with us, and people other than white male landowners can vote. Women have means of self-determination. Interracial couples gained the legal right to marry not all that long ago, and now same-gender couples as well. Our language is constantly developing to include rather than exclude, to honor instead of ridicule, to be truthful and not in denial of our history. And while we know that people will double down on their fight to stop this progress, the reality is that we are so appalled by their words and actions because we don't live in a world where they're considered the norm anymore. The progress we've made is not enough. It will never be enough because some groups will always exert their power over others, because our evolving understanding of what it means to be human will continue to confront us with the reality of experiences that are different from our own, because we seem to be designed for ongoing learning and growth. The faith that I'm expressing here is the faith that there will always be more to know than what I currently do. It is not a faith in my own knowing that allows me to grow. It's the faith that there is so much more out there beyond my experience that makes my own knowing just a tiny speck on the surface of ultimate reality. I am who I am today and not who I was 20 years ago because I let something larger than myself change me. And I hope that 20 years from now, I can say the same thing. Sharon Salzberg, the author of Faith, Trusting Your Own Deepest Experience, explores the meaning of faith through her personal story about a harrowing childhood of isolation and loss, a father's abandonment, a mother's early death, and her eventual journey into the Buddhist tradition. The overriding message, explains Salzberg, is that faith is not superficial or sentimental. It does not say everything will turn out all right, she writes. For me, faith has a lot to do with courage, and it's the courage to step forward into the unknown and, first of all, to admit that we don't know, to actually admit we don't know, and yet to say, you know, I have the strength to go forward anyway. It's connecting to our own deepest strengths so that we're not defined by the circumstance we find ourselves in on any given day. The beautiful thing about a Unitarian Universalist faith is that it is a faith freely chosen. Jill Schwendeman writes in the book, A People So Bold, Theology and Ministry for Unitarian Universalists, ours is a free faith, characterized not by the recitation of a creed, but by principles that guide, without defining, its expression in each age. In the same book, Meg Riley writes, "I am bewildered by those who think Unitarian Universalism is an easy faith. For us, faith is not something we own. Our only real possessions, as the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh says, are our actions. We believe in deeds, not creeds." This morning, Sunday morning, when I preached this message, I stood in front of the banners representing various world religions and the many sources that inform our liberal understanding of the word faith. And I don't ever take that lightly. This place where I was standing, in this place where people were sitting in the sanctuary, in the place that people were viewing on their screen, was sacred because the banners say to the adherents of all those religious traditions, past, present, and future, "We see your faithful search for truth and meaning, and we honor it, and we aspire to learn from it." As Unitarian Universalists who gather in a church building on a Sunday morning and not as an ethical society meeting at a restaurant, we see and honor the religious convictions that are part of our history, whether we hold them or not. And let's be clear that some of us do and some of us don't. We honor that in our history and in our present. There are those among us who are atheists and theists, and among the theists, there are monotheists and polytheists, believing in myriad ways in goddess or God or gods, heeding the wisdom of saints and prophets and ordinary people. This is a radical way of being faith community together. This is a revolutionary behavior for people who hold strongly to their own values and convictions while leaving space for others to do the same and not demanding uniformity. This is an incredible gift, and one that I hope you receive and offer to others with gratitude and at least a little bit of awe. So today, let's celebrate our Unitarian Universalist faith, a faith that doesn't demand assent to any particular being or set of ideas, but that creates space for us to love and grow and serve and dream and advocate together for a purpose greater than our individual selves. And if you still don't want to say the F word, that's okay. But know that if you do, you can reclaim it. Its meaning is so much greater than any narrow description that fits into a single religion's box. Unitarian Universalism at its foundation is a movement for broadening and deepening both our understanding of and our living into spiritual, moral, and ethical concepts that we hope will change us so that we can change the world. To return to the words I started with from Soul Matters, maybe faith is more about remembering our longing for what we love and who we want to be. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.